Great to have you here. Let me just share my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen, James.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, we can see it? Okay, sweet. So yeah, my name is Nish, and yeah, we'll be talking about community building 101. So how do you get your community from 0 to 1 in the NFT ecosystem, and more importantly, on the Flow blockchain? So the agenda for today, it's a bit of we'll start with a bit of an introduction from our side, from Flowverse, get to know who we are, and then moving on, we'll be talking about how you craft your own community strategy when you launch a project or an application in the Web3 space. And then one of the more important things is about how you engage your community. So we'll be going through some rules and guidelines on how you engage your Web3 community. And then we'll be talking about community KPIs, so key performance indicators, along with some tangible examples along with that. And then how you achieve those KPIs is through tools. And there's a combination of Web2 and Web3 tools that we've used over the last 2 years to grow our community that we want to share with you. And then, we're ending off on how you can get in touch with Flowverse if you want to, work with us, and then a bit of Q&A to round out the session. So, I'm going to jump straight into it, but I hope this session will provide a lot of value to you guys in terms of just, bootstrapping your community, growing your community, and actually retaining your community. So introduction. So who are we? So my name is Nish, and, my best friend, James, who's also the co-founder of Flowverse. We've got a diverse range of experiences spanning from data analytics, strategy consulting, insurance. Flowverse is also part of one of Australia's leading startup accelerator programs, powered by the University of Melbourne. So we started Flowverse in June 2021, and so far since then, we've become the #1 discoverability platform and top platform for apps building on Flow. This is for collectors, this is for developers and investors to discover everything on the Flow blockchain. And what we mean by everything is from NFTs, projects, DeFi applications, DAOs, tooling, educational resources, tutorials, guides, everything on the Flow blockchain. So you can jobs as well, job listings. We've got that on Flowverse. And, since June 2021, we've become the leading Flow blockchain medium platform. We cover news and announcements as well. And we've also got 40 plus brands and companies that have trusted us since that time. And then we've built a community from 0 to 71,000 across newsletter, socials such as Discord and Twitter, and website as well. On top of that, we've also launched 2 NFT collections. Why we wanted to launch 2 NFT collections is because we wanted to become a Web3 brand. So Flowverse has launched 2 NFT collections. The first was the OG Flowverse Socks collection, and then the next was the Flowverse Mystery Pass collection. Why we launched NFTs? Because we wanted to leverage the technology behind it to build a premium membership option for our most loyal and engaged community members. So, I'll start talking about the socks for a bit. So the Flowverse socks were, tell the sock story for those who might not be familiar. They were distributed for free on Christmas 2021, and now have a floor value of over $1,000. That illustrates the Flowverse brand and community value. We just wanted to give it as a gift to our most loyal and engaged community members, but it actually grew to a community that consists of the most die-hard Flow blockchain fans. These include investors, NFT collectors, and also some top CEOs and founders of some of the most exciting apps on the Flow blockchain ecosystem. Next, we also launched our second NFT collection recently, and that was in November last year. We actually sold out 98% of our supply in under 2 weeks during the worst week of crypto. So I don't know whether you guys remember, but there was the FTX, and I think when we launched, I think it took about 2 days, and then the FTX news came about, and it was just, everyone was, it was just a bad week for crypto that week, but we managed to sold out 98%. which then speaks volumes to how our community trusts us. So, let's get straight into it, and enough about us, but, community strategy, let's get into it. So how do you craft your own community strategy? So initially we thought, we'd lay down what we did for our community strategy, but we realized that if we said that, it might not be suitable for, all communities, because we strongly believe that each community is different. Not every community is the same. And I think laying out how it is now on this slide is probably the best way to go about how you craft to teach you guys how to craft your own community strategy, because there's no one community, there's no one kind of rule that is there to help build your community strategy. So we've laid it out into like 5 bullet points, and yeah, I think I'll go through each and one of them in more detail. So I think the first thing before you even craft your community strategy is to understand and know your own community. So what I mean by that is understand their motivations, their desires, their needs, their values. So for example, the Flowverse community, they might be, we've understood that they're general flow blockchain enthusiasts. They love, they just love the overall growth of the ecosystem. Whereas maybe if you're launching, like a basketball themed PFP collection, that might have different motivation, needs, and desires for the values of the community. They might be more, less into the general flow blockchain ecosystem, but they might be super into like, the NBA or the NBL. So yeah, that's the difference between, that's an example where, there might be different values of the community, for example. And then to understand your community, you've got to ask and answer key questions. So what do they find valuable? How can they be engaged? What kind of content do they relate to? Is it, do they relate to basketball content, or is it general flow content? So trying to understand that is really valuable to understanding your community. What incentives attract them? For example, is your community, do they love giveaways? Are they turned off by giveaways? So those are really key important questions that you need to answer when developing your community strategy. And then creating a team. You can't do it by yourself. Creating a community in Web3 is hard, but it's definitely there's definitely fruits to it once you build that community. So assembling a great team to execute on your strategy is super crucial. So I think some of the key hires that me and James came up with is, getting a content writer, social media manager to manage your social media profiles, and then the community manager, which is like this kind of like a person that helps build and manage a community. So from our experience over the last 2 years, it's very hard to find a good and great community manager. But once you find them, it's actually super valuable to have. They're probably one of the most important team members in your company or app. So getting that team is super crucial. And then moving on, projects and apps have to prioritize engagement, we believe. Focus on engaging the community. In the next section, we'll teach you, we'll provide some rules and guidelines on how to engage the community that we think that might be useful to you guys, but also focusing on retaining members as much as growth. And then the next, last but not least, also consider multiple platforms. Find out what platforms will be most suitable to engage your community. And to do that, you got to go back to number one, which is understand your community. So that number one is really like super crucial to get right. And then I think the rest follows through if you get that right. So, most Web3 projects, they've got a Twitter and Discord. That's kind of stock standard, but who knows? Your project might be a bit different. Like it might try to attract a mainstream audience that's not typical of a Web3 crypto native user. So definitely trying to understand your community is super important, because you got to create content and communicate on the platform that is the most suitable for your community. So then the next section is engaging community. So we get a lot of questions from projects over the last 2 years on how do you engage a community? How do you get how do you build such an engaging community? And so I think we've prepared some rules and guidelines that we thought might be useful to you guys. So the first rule is definitely always ask members for help. Search for MVPs. These are your most valuable players. For those who are not familiar with the term, these people usually, they're very like active in your Discord or like whatever socials that you have. They always like and retweet your Twitter content. They usually volunteer to help out, but I think you should ask them if they want to help out, and if they're on board, then great. That's awesome. So hiring within your community is super valuable, and yeah, it's really rewarding. But once you hire them, be specific on their role. You can't be general. Like, be specific on their role, and reward them when they do it well. And definitely don't take advantage. And then the second rule is reward your members. Yeah, as I said earlier, give constructive feedback to members, that help out, and show appreciation for them. And then understand your members as well, in terms of engaging the community. So never sell members like, items or like tokens or NFTs that they don't want or need. And that goes back to the point of understanding your community. It's super important. I can't emphasize that enough. And then building in public is, it's quite a Web3 thing. Because everything's open. Smart contracts are open source, so transparency is key within the community. Always be honest with them, and that will instill belief, which is the next guideline. So be absolutely clear on your vision with the community, and fulfill. What I mean by fulfillment is after you release your project, you launch your project. If for example, if you're an NFT project and you said you were going to do XYZ, you better do XYZ. And that will instill belief once the community sees that you're executing on XYZ. And always be open to feedback. In the Flowverse Discord, for example, we've got a suggestions and help and support channel, and people usually give feedback because they just want to help us out. They love what we're doing, and yeah, it's great. It's a good web. Yeah, that's why I love building in Web3, because your users actually like your most loyal supporters. They want you to do well, and yeah, it's all about aligning incentives for sure. So yeah, definitely be open to feedback. And then engage the lurkers as well. What I mean by lurkers is that, for example, in Discord, you've got the quiet and active members. The lurkers are usually the quiet members, and you got to engage both. So focus on everyone. It's easier to focus on the active members because they're just there. But yeah, focus on the quiet members as well. And how you do that, it's quite hard. There's no like hard and fast rule on how you engage the quiet members. But, for example, they might not be chatting on the Discord general chat channels, but they might be liking and reacting to every announcement that you make. Just, maybe, slide into just message them on their DMs, their direct messages. Just say how you're doing, like how a friend would be. Like one of the things why I love building in Web3 is because you get to meet so many people around the world and you become friends with them. So most of our community members in Flowverse, I think of as friends. Like I think NFTs and Web3 is a great way to organize global online communities. So yeah, just focus on everyone is my advice on how to engage the community. And then you want to segment communication. So in Flowverse, I think we've got quite a crypto native audience, but if you're a project focusing on the mainstream as well as attracting the crypto audience, communication will be very key, and it will be different for new members. So non-native crypto users, versus the more experienced crypto native users. So definitely you might want to, for example, when you set up your Discord, if it's a new user, it'll be like a different onboarding process, for example, versus an experienced member. And then last but not least, finally, feedback is data. As I said, be open to feedback, but also, use the feedback from the community. You don't have to use all of it because sometimes you might not agree with it, but more often than not, like it's actually really valuable from my experience. And we've used the feedback that we've gotten from our community to help, fix our problems, fix our errors, fix our bugs. They'll usually post a screenshot and, when there's an error on the website and, we immediately fix them up. We're like, oh, thanks for, catching that. We didn't see it. So yeah, that's, yes. So here are some guidelines. Hope you find this useful, but I'll be moving on to the next section. So passing it out to James to talk about community key performance indicators.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everyone, and thanks, Nish, for everything so far. So once you've outlined your community strategy and you've started to engage the community, it's important to then track the success of the community, both in terms of growth and engagement, to see how well you're doing. And one way you can do that is through KPIs. So KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator, and they're basically just metrics to keep on top of to determine the success of your community. As part of this presentation, we've bucketed KPIs into 6 different categories, and we track metrics across all of these categories for Flowverse. So the 6 categories: growth, retention, engagement, delivery, attendance, and efficiency. I'll quickly go into each of these as well as example metrics that we use. But again, dependent on kind of the community that you're building, you may be tracking different metrics, but likely they'll still be in these buckets because these are things that are common to most communities that you'd want to be tracking. So in terms of growth, that's looking at the number of new members that you're bringing in. Retention, the number of active and regular members that are keeping engaged. Engagement, just the number of engaged members. Delivery, this is an internal focus KPI. It's basically just, are you completing fulfillment and delivering value to your NFT holders? Attendance, the number of members attending community events, and then efficiency, which is how efficient your onboarding is. Next slide, please, Nish. So yeah, to give examples specific to Flowverse of the KPIs that we track, in terms of growth, we look at the number of Discord members and the number of Twitter followers. In terms of retention, we look at the number of weekly Discord users that are communicating in Discord. We look at the number of voters on our community proposals and votes that we put out. And we look at the number of unique holders of our NFTs. And outside of that, looking at the newsletter, we also look and make sure that we have a constant open rate of our newsletter over time, because that's showing that people are being retained and continuing to be attentive to the content that we're putting out. Looking at engagement, we assess the number of reacts and comments on Discord, Twitter announcements. Looking at delivery, we basically, this is to stay accountable. So we're looking at what have we done for the community since launch. And every month or so, we'll put out a announcement on either Twitter or Discord, which shows exactly what we've done for our NFT holders. So that's really around delivery goal. Like, what are we actually achieving for the community? Moving into attendance, there's how many people attend Twitter Spaces. If you're the Flow community, it would be like how many people attend this Zoom seminar. That's kind of the attendance goal. And then moving into efficiency, that's all about conversion. So for example, how many people from our Twitter go to our website? How many people go from our website to our NFT platform? How many people buy an NFT on our NFT platform? And then what proportion of the people that buy NFTs verify their NFT on Discord and join our community? So efficiency is really about, tracking the kind of the click-through rates to basically just make it as efficient as possible there. Awesome. And the way that you can kind of improve your KPIs is through utilizing community tools. A lot of these tools are free to use and built by fellow Flow blockchain community members. Next slide, please. So these are some of the tools you should have on your radar. And when I say on your radar, I mean, if you're building an NFT project on Flow, you should probably understand every single one of these tools and what it can do for your community. So if you're listening into this, you should probably take a screenshot of this slide and then just look into all of the tools individually, because it's just good to be aware of what's out there that you can use to engage your community in the first place. And we, as part of Flowverse, use these tools, some of them on a daily basis, and the majority of them kind of, monthly basis. So yeah, we utilize all these tools. Maybe some of your communities that you're building won't require usage of them all. But yeah, it's good to be aware of kind of what is out there that you can use. And so again, we've bucketed this into 6 different categories. stats, communication, rewards, access, voting, and gallery. To call out a few tools that I think are excellent and that have been pretty imperative to the success of Flowverse: Twitter, Discord, Substack in the communication category have all been really key. Substack, not used by as many Flow NFT projects, but we've found it really important in terms of getting out the weekly Flowverse newsletter that we run. Rewards, so Float, looking at the top one of the rewards category, has been a very imperative tool for us. It's a way that you can reward community members for doing specific tasks. So, for example, if we run a survey, we could give a free float NFT to everyone who completes the survey. If we run a Twitter space, we could give a free float NFT to everyone who participates in the Twitter space, either asks a question or is just there in attendance in the first place. And then if you're looking to run allow lists for NFT launches, you'd be looking more at hype.day and Gleam. There are a couple of useful tools there. Moving into access, Telly is a fantastic tool that we use with our Flowverse mystery pass holders. Telly enables you to spin up a token gated website. So you can quickly go to telly.io, I think, tell.ie, sorry. You can create a website for your community, and then you can gate access to that website with an NFT on Flow. So we have a website where you need to have a Flowverse mystery pass to log into the website. And then once they're logged in, they can see exclusive content and keep up to date with everything happening in the Flowverse mystery pass community. And then likewise with Emerald ID, that's a fantastic tool to token gate Discord. So you have a Discord channel that's verify your Flow NFT. You go into that channel, you can verify your Flow NFT, and then you can join Discord channel that is exclusive just to holders of your NFT. So that's also a very important tool to use. And then to call out just a couple more, there's voting. So we use the Cast platform by DApp Collectives, which is super useful. It's just a platform that enables some community members to create proposals and other community members to vote on the proposals. And that way it's a way of involving the community in the decision-making process. And so to call out a few proposals we've done in the past, we've enabled voting on product features, on different collaborations we can do, and other aspects like that. So Cast, really good tool for voting. And I think Emerald Discord bot is starting to have some of those features integrated into Discord as well. But yeah, that's tools. I'd recommend, again, kind of going into all of these if you're not aware of what they are, and just assessing which ones might be useful in your own community.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, you can all find these tools on our website, flowverse.co, as well, to find all the useful links to these tools.
Yeah, for sure. And then some other tools worth exploring that we don't use kind of on a regular basis, but would be very important depending on what community you're building. No-code mint tools, DeFi and other tools, and rarity tools. To quickly get into no-code mint tools, these are tools that enable you to launch an NFT collection without doing any smart contract engineering at all. You can quickly just upload a JPEG or a video, mint the NFT to the blockchain, and then either sell it or give it away for free. One of the no-code mint, we actually started our Flowverse sock NFTs using a no-code mint tool in the beginning. So we didn't code up any smart contracts at all for our Flowverse sock NFT launch. We used a no-code mint tool. We minted them one by one, manual process on a shared contract, and then we gave them away for free. It was only after the Flowverse socks had become successful, the community was flourishing, becoming engaged, that we then considered migrating them to a proper coded up individual smart contract. And then with the Flowverse mystery pass, we had enough momentum from the Flowverse socks and from everything we'd built to date that we then could invest money to build out a proper mint platform with smart contracts, etc. So really kind of, you can leverage no-code mint tools and go really ham on the community side. And it's actually a really nice organic way of building momentum before investing the resources in building a complete platform for your NFTs. Then DeFi plus other tools. If you're building a DeFi product on Flow, it would be worth looking at kind of increment finance's smart contracts and seeing if you can leverage those. If you're building a DAO, tokens, which is coming out pretty soon, could be a good option, or a fungible token. Tokens would be a good option. Loans and .find, excellent tools for having a name service, a domain name, and assigning that to people's wallets. Gift is a great tool for gifting NFTs. Flowverses for development, token proof for IRL events, and then Link to make sure people have set up their collections correctly. And then the final category of tools is rarity. So Flow Score is pretty excellent native to Flow rarity tool. And then you also have rarity.tools and Rarity Sniper. I guess just to quickly kind of clarify what rarity tools are, they're just, if you release a generative set of NFTs, rarity tools enable the people in your community to be able to tell how rare an NFT is in that collection. And so it can be a great tool for engagement, because people will be discussing how rare their NFTs are once they've been revealed. So again, rarity tools also potentially worth exploring, depending again on your NFT collection. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. If you want to get in touch with us, Nish and I are always open to chat. Just post a question in the Flowverse Discord anytime. You can get to the Flowverse Discord by going to discord.gg/Flowverse. You can also join our community. So to join our NFT community, you have to buy an NFT. So you can either get the Flowverse socks on socknft.com or buy Flowverse mystery passes on the Flowverse NFT marketplace there. Next slide, please. And then, yeah, this is just a slide calling out our distribution so far. So trusted by some industry leading brands there, Dapper, Animoca, Flow, etc. Next slide, please. And again, yeah, if you would like to work with us to help grow your community, you're welcome to express your interest on the Google form. You can also find the Google form on our website. If you just click more and then advertise with us, you'll be able to work with Flowverse to help advertise and grow your community. Awesome. Thanks everyone for listening in. I can see we've got quite a few questions here now. Happy to, yeah. So yeah, I guess now we're just happy to open the floor to any questions from people in the audience. So if you have a question, feel free to either type it up. Actually, I think you just have to type it up and then we can get through them all. But yeah, I can see some questions coming in and we can get to them one by one now.
Yeah, I think you've answered a few questions as well, right, James?
Yes, yeah, I answered a couple as we were going. But yeah, Nish, do you want to take some of these community ones? So the question, how to start with Discord, if you click.
Yeah. So let me just stop sharing my screen. How does it, so I mean, for those who are on the call, how to start with Discord. The question is how to start with Discord and increase the community quantity and quality wise organically. Can you please give me some tips that have helped you? James, do we want to type this or just talk about it in the video?
Yeah, I reckon we can talk about them in the video. So yeah, I'm happy to give a couple of tips, and then Nish, if you want to add anything as well. So starting with Discord by itself could be quite difficult because you'd need a way for people to discover your Discord server in the first place. And so when it came to the Flowverse Discord, we started with Twitter to begin with, and then an action from Twitter was to then join the Flowverse Discord. So the whole discovery kind of funnel for Flowverse, for the Flowverse community anyway, kind of was from Twitter and then into Discord. And so I guess kind of to increase kind of the quantity of people in your Discord, for us then it was just producing high quality Twitter content to kind of seed it initially, because people would engage with the Twitter content, then go to our bio, join the Discord. And likewise with our, with our website, we had a Discord link in there for people to be notified of NFT drops, join our Discord. And so that's kind of how people joined our Discord to begin with. In terms of quality, I think going to the engagement aspect that Nish mentioned earlier, if you sort of just executing on all those steps, that can really help improve the quality of your community. It's kind of all around building up an engaged community. And so, yeah, just following kind of the rule book that Nish outlined earlier can definitely help with that organically. They'd probably be the main ones. Just good content and engaging your community can increase the quantity and quality. I think also it's important to have like to specifically think about kind of what objective you're trying to achieve with your community beforehand. Like what is going to align everyone to get, like what common goal or value is the community going to be aligned on in the first place? So it's really thinking about, like why the community should exist in the first place. And then that will then help you create the content and, engage the community.
Yeah, there's definitely some good advice there from James. In terms of there's other ways that you could do is like, host, a huge Discord event. I think that was a great one. We hosted Flowfest in 2021, which led to a lot of growth there for us. And, but it doesn't have to be like a huge, multi-day Discord event. It could just be, weekly community calls, weekly poker charity nights, for example. So like online Discord events is I think quite a good way to increase the community quantity and both quality wise organically. And James was saying, putting out good content is super key. But I think to go one step further is putting out good content and on a consistent basis is, that's what you want. Consistency is key. And me and James, like for Flowverse, we've been, I think, fairly consistent. For example, I think for our newsletter, we grew from 0 to 39,000 subscribers, since June 2021. But that's because we put out good content, but also we never miss a Monday. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like every Monday that goes out, same time, same day, boom, and that's been done. I think we've got like 70 plus editions of the newsletter. So week in, week out, we're there posting good content with consistency. So that would be my advice, Anushka. And I think the second question, and hopefully that helped answer your question. How to become a great community manager, James? That's the second question.
Yeah, how to become a great community manager. So both Nish and I have done community management, I guess, as part of Flowverse from the beginning. I think it's actually it's really, there's a few aspects to this. I think the first one is kind of always listening to your community. Going off what Nish was saying before, kind of bringing in feedback from the community and actually kind of actioning that feedback, making sure your community feels heard. I think that's a really important aspect to being a great community manager. I think being transparent is important. I think involving the community in some decisions can be a great way to build up being community management. I think consistency is pretty key. Like Nish and I have been in the Discord every day for the last kind of 2 years. Like I think every single day we've checked out the Flowverse Discord. There's some of my ideas behind what makes a great community manager. Being receptive to feedback, being consistent. They're kind of the main ones, Nish.
Yeah, my advice would be also having thick skin, because if you, from my experience, you gotta be able to handle the heat sometimes. Like if something's when you're launching, if things don't go well, and someone in your Discord is raging or saying nasty stuff, you just gotta have thick skin. And definitely there's a line, obviously, as always, but definitely having thick skin and also being but James said communication, but I would say to action those feedback, you have to be really good at communication between the community and the team, for example. So you're like that, in between, where you're taking feedback from the community and then delivering that to the team to action off that. So being good at that is, I think, a good skill to have as to become a great community manager, for sure. So those two things would be my advice, for sure.
I love that. Like keeping a cool head kind of when when there's drama or something going on, being cool-headed.
Cool-headed. Just being a professional. Like I think that's what I've learned. Just be a professional, and hopefully as Flowverse we are that. We are displaying those skills to our community. And I'm just thinking about something. Just off the top of my head. Definitely be fast. People like fast responses. Especially we live in an attention economy, so people lose attention like pretty fast. So the faster they can get to execute, to give action feedback, the better. So you have to be fast in your communication and your delivery and execution as a community manager for sure. So that would be it. So hopefully that answers your question. Next question is, how do you differentiate the onboarding process on the same platform? Let's take Discord, for example. So I can take that. Like, for example, like if there's a new member joining your Discord, they'd be assigned a role. For example, I'm just thinking of ideas like assigned a role. They won't have access to all the channels at the start. They only have access to a few channels to help them on board. Maybe it's like, what is an NFT would be, a channel, you can leverage Discord bots to make it very seamless and, a great user experience. So when a user comes in, they don't see all the channels in your Discord, which could, why you wouldn't show all the channels in your Discord is that it could be intimidating, for example, or it might, it's just too much Web3 jargon if you just reveal all channels. So that's why simplifying it for a newbie is super key. I would not reveal all the Discord channels if there's a new user, and just limit those channels until they become more comfortable with crypto terms, for example, or just what your project's about. And then you can have some activations to then open up to every channel once they've answered a few questions and read a few notes. James, do you have any other? That's what I would do.
No, I think that was a pretty good answer for the onboarding process within the Discord. You can just kind of use different roles there. Also, I guess another point on Discord is kind of around security. I guess that's kind of another topic, but as you set up a Discord, it's important to kind of make sure it's secure and you're using the right bots there, etc. But that's a kind of topic for another day.
I think we can talk about that. That is, we won't dive into I guess what bots specifically, but I think that's just a bit of Google and research there in terms of what bots are trusted and whatnot. You can even ask the Flow community. And I guess going back to the point, the Flow community, don't be afraid to ask questions to other projects, how did you build your community? I think one thing that is great about the Flow community is that everyone is super collaborative. Even though there's competition for sure, but everyone is super open to help each other, which is, I don't think, other blockchain ecosystems have that, to be fair. I think that's one of the great points, the great key points of the Flow ecosystem. One of the reasons why I love it. But Discord security is super important because the amount of scams and spam on Discord is insane, especially if you grow to a large Discord. It is actually insane, and that comes to the point where hiring a great community team is super important. And definitely hire a good team and use the right bots and have the right measures in place to minimize the risk of a security breach or a hack. That's my advice. So next question is the RSVP for onsite and not online? What? Not too sure about this one, James. Or team.
Maybe the organized team can take that one. I think I think that's probably a administrative question. Next question from Neil Kamal: is free token distribution a good way to build your community initially? How should be the strategy to ensure that those users are going to purchase paid NFTs in the future? Nish, if you want to.
So when you say free token distribution, I'm assuming, fungible or non-fungible, still tokens, right? So I think for us, like from our experience, like, yeah, the socks was a good way. We didn't really plan. We just wanted to give it as a gift for Christmas, like, because who doesn't like socks for Christmas? But it turned out to be a pretty good way to build your community initially. I think you see, there's a lot of crypto apps, and products that have done, free tokens or free, you've probably heard of airdrops, incentivizing users to use the platform by airdropping them, free NFTs or free tokens. And I think it's a great way, because that's one of the advantages, because it's all about aligning incentives actually with NFTs and fungible tokens. That's one of the key, I think one of the main things what I like about NFTs and tokens. But yeah, I think, you try it out. And if it's not, then I think one thing important in the space that we've learned, me and James, is to execute fast, but experiment with everything. And yeah, don't be afraid to pivot. If this thing doesn't work, then, pivot to something else. So yeah, we've tried it for ourselves. So like, yeah, we offered free to claim NFTs, and it was a good way to, initially build a community for sure. So yeah, try it out. Yeah. But James,
that's a good answer. In our case with the socks as well, it wasn't necessarily a free claim. It was kind of, we handpicked everyone that we thought kind of should have Flowverse sock NFTs from the larger, like the wider Flowverse community, and then only airdropped it to like very specific community members who were engaging on a regular basis with. Yeah, exactly. So and I think that's kind of what may have given the community some value in the first place, as opposed to having like a free kind of like free mint.
And to anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that's something to consider as part of the free token distribution, is like, who would you give the free tokens to? And I guess the second aspect to it is like, I think the question, sorry, just scrolled down a bit. How do you ensure they're going to purchase paid NFTs in the future? That wasn't something we could, as Nish said, wasn't something we considered for the Flowverse socks, because it was just like a Christmas gift. But yeah, I think it's all just about delivering value. Like if you deliver a lot of, utility, if you build up a great community around those NFTs, then that's probably the way to do it.
Yeah, I hope that answers your question, Neil. But thanks for the question, guys. It's really good questions that we're getting. So it's great answering these questions. How to make an NFT collection successful, marketing and community wise?
So I think there's a lot of elements to that. Definitely the community wise. Hopefully we've shared a lot of insights in this presentation, and just answering all your questions to kind of help make it successful from a community perspective, I guess, would be kind of taking on board that advice, but not just our advice, because like you have to bear in mind that our advice is contextual. It's come from our point of view. So it's probably best to like consider the advice of multiple people on community building, and then kind of take what you think would be appropriate from each person you listen to. And if you're hearing the same thing from multiple people, it's probably something that you should deploy. Running experiments, as Nish said, super useful way of like making it successful. Like you keep just executing, running different experiments, because it is such a new industry. What makes something successful might not make another thing kind of successful. Marketing wise, that's an interesting one. Could probably spend like another whole session on that. But yeah, I guess on the marketing angle, it sort of is just more like how do you get people's attention? Like as Nish mentioned, like we're in a attention economy, so it is just kind of what can stand out and differentiate what you're building against someone else, to really like appear, as if it's something unique and different, kind of amongst the crowd. I think that's kind of a way that you can frame that.
Yeah, no, those are some good points, James. But yeah, I'll try to add some more points as well. And in terms of like, I think a lot of projects actually, when they launch NFT collection, they don't even have, their own, like a decent enough community. So in terms of quantity and quality. So definitely taking that time to build that community before you even launch or like, launch whatever your app or NFT project is, for example, is definitely crucial. So yeah, definitely. Yeah. So basically that advice is, spend time building community before you launch is what we're trying to say. But then, we live, again, James was saying we live in an attention economy, but also like, what we said earlier about, in terms of marketing wise, in terms of like creating content that your community will relate to, or where new users will relate is super important. That's where, in terms of, just creating content about your NFT collection or whatever your value is. I think that's super crucial. But I think James covered most points there. We're getting a lot of questions, which is good. How do you retain and engage your community members? I cannot, give you, quick answer to that. So retainment, I think fulfillment is a great way to retain your members. Why some projects might lose members, for example, is that they don't fulfill on whatever they said they were going to do, which then results in lack of belief, and therefore you lose the member. Whereas if you fulfill, then they believe in you, they believe that you're gonna, whatever you're gonna launch next or whatever thing you say that you're gonna do next, they're obviously gonna like believe like more in you, right? They're gonna have more confidence in you and the ability for the team to execute. So definitely the retainment side, fulfillment is key in my opinion. And then just maintaining that high quality that you have throughout. Like there's no breaks. It's always high quality, week in, week out. Being consistent is a great way to retain your community members. And then in terms of engaging, I think we pointed out we had like a whole slide on, like, I don't know whether you guys could have seen the screen earlier, but we had a whole slide of some rules and guidelines on how to engage your community members. But James, if you want to add anything else to what I said?
No, I think that's pretty good response there.
Cool. Next question is referring to the last slide about companies open to working with Flowverse on building Flowverse, I guess, on building a community. Is it only available for companies or artists as well? Big fan. I'm PJ Maswan, being on the Flowverse Discord. Love Flow. Shout out to you, man. Definitely. Thanks for being on the Flowverse Discord and community for sure. But we work with companies and artists. We've worked with a couple of Flow artists, and actually that brings back to my point. One of the utilities, which was a mystery utility before, but we've actually revealed it, is collaborating with artists to give a free to claim NFTs of their artwork to our core Flowverse Mystery Pass members and stock holders. So we've collaborated with After Future, who's a prominent artist on Flow. But the reason why we wanted to attach that utility is because we just wanted to promote the artist community on Flow, and just promote digital art on Flow a bit more, because we saw that dip down recently. If you want to collaborate with us, reach us out on the Flow's DMs on Twitter, and we can discuss there. Thanks. Awesome. And then next question is from Tony: what to avoid to not create conflicts or disputes within the community itself? To me, I think I'll answer this straight. We have a rules section of the Flowverse Discord, and if you go against the rules, then you're out, like kick or ban. So establishing rules on how to act accordingly in the Discord, or just resolving conflicts, is having those rules already in place is a great way to just prevent those conflicts or disputes happening within the community. But James, do you have any other actions?
I think that's a pretty good answer. Just kind of having Discord community rules in place to ensure that kind of disputes don't happen. Sometimes letting the kind of conflict, if it's a constructive conflict or dispute, it's like you may as well just let it run out, kind of thing. I think it really does kind of depend. If it's getting if it's getting out of hand or someone's violating the rules, then that would kind of be time to time to kind of like be involved and take action.
Yeah, cool. And then next question is, what is a good number of tweets to make in a day to grow your Twitter? I think yeah, definitely quantity is definitely important. So I mean, I would say as a general rule of thumb, probably like 2 to 4 tweets a day. But more importantly, it's the quality of tweets. You want to, again, goes back to my point, you want to be delivering content that your users, your community members, they relate to a lot. And definitely delivering quality content is as important or even more important than even like the volume of content that you put out in a day. And say you put out 2 tweets a day, can you do that for every day for like a year? Like that, the consistency I think is what differentiates a great project from a good project. So that's my advice. But James, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I think it is kind of, there's no hard and fast rule as to like, a good number of tweets. I'd say you'd probably want to tweet, a couple of times a day at least, but it's sort of a fine line between engaging your community and also just like posting too much and kind of getting annoying. So so it's sort of like a delicate balance there. But again, it's tailored to your community. So thinking about kind of thinking about the values of your community that you're building, like if it's like a NBA game focused community, maybe you post daily. If it's something what's something rare, I don't know, if there was something rarer, maybe you'd post a bit less often, but really tailor it to your community and be consistent about it. Awesome.
So cheers. Like something that like will work for us might not work for your community, for example. Like, so they definitely like see what we've done well and try to experiment again. But if it doesn't work, then pivot, like, because it might not work, for your community. So things to keep in mind.
Yeah, for sure. Also with Twitter, I think, the algorithms have probably changed a fair bit recently, as the feed has moved from kind of a following feed to a for you feed, which might end up a bit more like TikTok. So definitely something to kind of bear in mind around content there. But thanks for all the questions, Anushka. They've been really good.